welcome to the Vergecast for the week of November 7th, 2011. I'm Josh Topolsky.
I'm Paul Miller.
I'm Neil Apatow.
And we have a special guest with us, the lovely and delightful
Joanna Stern.
The semi-delightful Joanna Stern.
the lovely and annoyed
The
Joanna
lovely
Stern.
special guest.
The very
that
angry
we don't
Joanna
like
Stern.
to actually be a special guest on the show.
Who has to leave immediately.
Yeah.
She can only be on for...
I have dinner to
Yeah.
go to.
Anyhow, this is the Vergecast where we talk about the week in technology news, consumer electronics, hopes, Joanna's dinners, hopes, dreams, feelings.
I was just told there's video on this podcast.
There's video.
Oh.
Have you seen?
Did you see this?
I had no idea.
We sprung for cameras and everything. It's pretty exciting
Oh my
stuff.
God.
Anyhow, this is our
What do we
second
do?
Vergecast, a name which is a hotly debated name which Paul hates.
Yeah.
But you have to admit it's growing on you.
No, it's not.
Really,
No.
not at all.
No.
I'm at 50-50.
You know what the
But
Verge,
last week,
the
the first
Vergecast
50 was
sounds
hate.
like? It's like, welcome to my homepage. It's under construction, but look at this animated GIF of like a guy digging a hole.
Oh, dude, it has a GIF?
Yeah.
The digging gift.
Yeah.
I'm looking at your picture from the post, and from the article, and looking at you here. You're like evil Paul today.
Right now.
You're
Yeah.
like the bad.
Can't
You're like when
see
Paul.
him.
It's true.
He like drinks something
With
and
the
gets
hair down
he's
over my
unhinged.
eye,
Like,
like-
yeah, that's how you know the glasses.
I'm the Jared Leto.
Yeah, you're Jared Leto. You're like, I don't know, Paul. Something happened.
It's true.
Something he got evil.
It's like a mixture of you look super kind, but then you're going to murder me.
He doesn't look kind. He looks like a
no, like
serial
you would
killer.
take
Like a
take
serial
really
killer.
good care of like a bird or a rabbit,
You mean like Kevin Spacey?
but then murder
Like
an
Frankenstein.
innocent person.
Like
Yeah.
Frankenstein.
I just don't know my own strengths.
He didn't know. He thought he was hugging. He was killing.
From right here, I can't even see Paul's face. No idea
Well,
what
it looks
like.
evil.
Oh, there he is.
It looks like
You
dark.
do look evil.
Dark Paul.
Yeah.
Anyhow, big weird week in technology
A
news.
ridiculous week.
Ridiculous week in technology news and consumer electronics, and we are going to talk about that week.
Oh yeah.
And
So much.
and we have to finish it by 8.
Yes, we do.
I mean, according to Joanna.
I mean, I'm just going to leave that.
I'm not doing a 2-hour. I'm putting my foot in the sand. Putting my foot in the What is it? What do you do? Putting your foot down?
Yeah, you
In
don't
the
put it in
sand.
the
Or
sand.
what's the sand?
Drawing a line.
Drawing a line.
The sand is really impermanent.
I'm
Like,
drawing a line on my foot, okay? This
We're
is
going
it.
to bury Josh in the sand.
Putting my foot in the sand. That's my new thing.
Yeah, that's
There's
right.
like a lot of stuff about regular humanity I don't know.
Yeah.
Like sayings. Or what happens at the end of Mary Poppins.
Oh, she dies.
Oh, come on, really?
She
Her-
dies because her umbrella breaks.
Yeah, she's
Trying to parachute out of something.
Yeah.
No!
tragic
yeah.
umbrella
Whoops.
accident.
Down.
Yeah.
That's a dark story. Anyhow, let's you guys, man. Let's get into this. Let's talk about there was a big announcement at the top of the week.
Yeah, you were there.
What
You were
happened?
there. Nook Tablet.
That was this week?
Yeah.
I think it was.
It was
You
this
know,
week.
live
It's a
vlogging.
long week then,
It
wasn't it?
was a lot. Actually, it's really terrible to hold an event on a Monday morning.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, I thought you were going to say it's really terrible. I thought
the
you were-
Nook tablet.
No, yeah, that's what I thought you were saying. It's really
No, it's
terrible.
not really terrible. I actually really like it, and so that's really all I have to say about it.
That's it.
That's it.
I'm going.
You're like, I gotta go. Got a dinner arrangement. So, what do you think?
I like
Nook,
that. I
tell
like
us,
this. I
tell
like
us
a lot of
about,
things.
tell us about the Nook tablet.
I'll tell you a little bit about the event because I think the event was actually pretty interesting for a Barnes & Noble event. They're usually pretty boring. Like they'll have the event upstairs in the bookstore, and they did that. But I thought the CEO was pretty interesting this week when he was basically bashing on Amazon.
Oh yeah. No, he
And-
like went at him.
Yeah, and so the live blog, which I thought was going to be kind of boring, turned out to be pretty interesting because he was taking them down on each different point.
They were
So
really,
going
they were really aggressive.
very
Yeah.
aggressive.
Yeah.
So he went like on each point of the Kindle Fire. We've got more RAM. We have in-store support. What else was he going on about?
A better screen. They were
Better
really
screen.
harping better screen.
Yeah, and
Um,
so
and a bigger price.
Yeah.
a
We
bigger
got
price,
what
a
price?
nicer design. he
What is it?
kept
And their
saying.
justification for that? So it's $249.99.
Yep.
The Kindle Fire is $199.99. And what is the justification for the $50? Is it's got an extra 512 of RAM,
Right, half
and it
of it.
has more internal storage, and it's also expandable. Screen is better. They say
I
the screen
actually
is
think
better.
the screen looks better. I mean, I didn't have them to compare, and I haven't seen the Fire for a while, but I think the display is really nice. And I actually still don't have an answer. So he came out with a tablet and held it up,
Yeah.
and I could have sworn
There's
the
a
screen was
playbook.
painted on.
You mean the tablet?
Really?
Yeah, the tablet.
He's like,
They've
he's like,
done
look
that
at
before.
the resolution of
Yeah.
this screen.
No, but he didn't ever touch it.
It's
so
like
he just
print.
held it up.
The screen is like print resolution.
Which launched, they definitely did that for the original Nook.
And then, so then when we went downstairs to do the
odd.
hands-on, they had the ones with the painted screen on. Like they had the sticker,
There was no hands-on with the tablet?
There was. There was some. Yeah. There were other ones, but I still think the one he held up was just like a sticker on it.
So is the screen similar to the original?
It's the same, I think.
Really?
Yeah, it's the same screen.
Yeah, it's the same resolution.
But that's not. It's not that good of a screen.
No, it's not.
It is a pretty nice screen.
I mean, it's not as reflective as some, but it's also like not.
It's
very
an IPS display.
bright.
It's very good viewing angles. I thought it was pretty bright.
So you were at the Fire event too, so you can compare the two.
Yeah, but in my
your mind.
So,
my
but
history,
the Fire screen is the PlayBook screen,
right?
I mean, we know that screen. I mean,
we know it and we love it.
They actually
he said that too. He's like, oh, they have the playbook. All they did was use the playbook,
which is an amazing
design
thing,
reference,
by the way, for the CEO of a huge company to say about a competitor.
Yeah.
Well, I think
they
it's
were
also
so lazy.
I think it's also interesting that not just they're saying that they were lazy, but that they that the playbook sucks. Everybody knows that. The playbook is crap. We all know that. They're like, look, let's not beat around the bush. I'm not going to tell you. Don't. We know what the playbook is all about, and these guys just reuse the playbook.
Yeah.
So it's a piece of crap by proxy. Like, I feel bad for Rim in this situation. It's like, your product is so bad, it's being used as an example of how somebody else's product is bad. Like, you playbook this thing. It's all playbooked up. People are start using playbook casually.
That's bad.
Oh, he did. He pulled a playbook.
Yeah.
As like for something that happened that was bad.
No.
He pulled a playbook.
It's not.
Let's start.
Definitely going mainstream.
We're starting that.
Okay,
It's going mainstream, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't playbook this.
Memed up.
Not going to.
Okay, good. Go on.
It was fierce.
What else did I have to say?
You were talking about the tablet.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that even though it's the $50 difference, I think the biggest hardware aside, and the software is sort of the experience is all
Hardware and software aside,
it's a better product.
Price aside, it's the superior product.
What makes it a better product?
Yeah, what does make it a better product?
No, I'm going to say that I think that the hardware on the Nook is probably better. I like the design better.
I like the design better too.
It's thinner.
A lot better.
It looks nicer, but where Amazon is going to have the real edge, the killer playbook killing edge, is going to be in the ecosystem, and that's a big problem for.
So,
I think
they mentioned this though. They're doing these like custom variants of Android apps. So they're still running an Android,
right?
And they're like, we're gonna have the deepest Netflix integration of anybody.
That's a lie, because if you read my hands-on, it's actually just the phone app running on there.
Right, but I don't think it's ready. I don't think
it's gonna get deeper.
They're they're gonna ping your queue to your home screen. They're gonna do all this stuff.
Maybe.
I mean, their whole idea is that they're gonna have
Reed
Android.
Hastings is all the help he can get right now. It's like, what do you guys want to do?
It's weird that we haven't seen that before now.
Right, but it's also like, do you want that at all?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean,
I think they really, they have
much.
an app problem, and I met with them afterwards, and they're saying, they're working with all these developers and that sort of thing. But, Amazon's got an app store that they've been working on for multiple Android devices, and they've already built the collection of apps. And now with the Fire,
but they have the same problem. I mean, in a lot of ways.
Yes,
they have a slightly bigger footprint, but they still have the issue of they're not the actual Android store.
And
That's
they've had
true.
a lot of problems with their own store. A lot of like developer backlash, the way that they do pricing, the way they do like the free app, and like
They
a
just
lot of
kinda
developers
they
have to
give
drop,
it away, right?
Yeah, and a lot of developers like have a huge influx because they're like the free app of the day, but then they have to drop support because they have this weird app in a kind of a silo of the Amazon App Store, and they have to choose where they want to invest their support, and they'd rather put that into the Google App Store where people actually paid money for their app.
It's times like this that I wish Steve Jobs were alive, because he would get on a call somewhere
and
he would just talk about how ridiculous the Android app situation is right now.
These bozos.
No, they're bozos that are blowing it. Not only are they. It is kind of insane. You have fragmentation amongst Android devices. Just full stop. Like, Android market has its own problems with fragmentation, and now Barnes & Noble, huge retailer, it has a big presence in these products, and Amazon, huge retailer, about to have a big presence in these products, also creating their own separate incompatible ecosystems.
Well, you know what I can't wait to happen? for then one of those companies to create another product, and then some of those apps don't work on that product.
You mean like a bigger product?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. No, exactly.
Like
They'll
Amazon's going to have like a 10-inch
It'll be
tablet,
like-
Or like they
and
make
then
like
it's
a TV.
not
Well, no,
gonna
we've
work.
Yeah, if you
heard
look at
it's,
the org chart of this, it's like
Yeah.
Android and then all these like fragmented bits and then these big silos, it's Amazon, and then they're going to do their
We'll make a nice
8-inch
infographic.
tablet and it's going to have their 2 silos.
It's going to happen.
I think we've talked
Yeah.
about this before, but it's
Yeah, it's
it's
gonna happen.
it's an
It's going to happen.
We're going to do it. We're going to do an infographic on that when it happens.
it's an approach.
That's not going to happen.
No, that's going to happen.
Our infographic?
Yes.
Yeah.
Really?
Interactive
Oh,
infographic.
yeah. Uh-huh.
It's an approach to the
3D.
market where you can only win if you totally win. There's no you don't end up with a good product if you get like 15% of the market.
Well, I mean, it depends on how valuable that 15% is.
I mean, you might be
Like
getting
15% of, really rich guys.
Well, I mean, Apple's doing well with 10% of the PC market. They're doing fine.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
they could be doing better though. Couldn't they?
They could own everyone.
But no. I mean, it is troubling though. Like that we have this.
it's like a standards war where I think the consumer ultimately suffers.
Right. And now it's like it's growing. It's like mutating. Right. You thought it was over. You were like, wow, this fragmentation is bad. And Google is like, we're going to try to get this in check. We're going to offer updates. Blah blah
Yeah,
blah.
put that up there.
And
it's on the stream.
Oh, it's on the stream.
what's happening? Why are you talking?
I'm
trying
looking
to.
at pictures. Go ahead. Don't
Okay. But now it's like, not only do they have their problem, that all these other guys have their problem, and developers have to make a decision. I feel like if I'm a developer who's making a tablet app, this is going to highly encourage me to just develop for the iPad. It's like
agree.
biggest audience, no fragmentation.
Unless Amazon or Barnes & Noble gives you a nice bounty to port
Right.
your app because
I mean-
it's already popular on another platform.
I mean, I
And
think
when I asked them about like ice cream sandwich, I mean, they seem so focused on their own platform. I mean, the Barnes & Noble representative, I don't remember her name right now, was, really sort of dodging those questions, just saying like, this is our own platform and we're handpicking these apps and,
Yeah.
we're trying to get these
well,
big
I mean,
names
have you used the Nook Color in their apps?
Have
they
I
are,
used them?
Yeah, you've used them, right?
Yeah.
They are just glorified. I mean, they're just Android.
Yeah, they're
apps.
Android
Yeah.
apps.
I mean, they
They're phone
are.
apps.
There is no. I
That's
think
what I'm
there's
saying.
this,
The Netflix app is the phone app.
right. I think there's this idea that like somehow it's different than like a Galaxy Tab,
No.
but it's not. It's exactly the same, and it's actually really depressing.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny.
And
is
annoying.
We've said for a long time the Nook Color is likely the best-selling
they
Android
said
tablet.
that. They
It
said
is.
it was the best selling.
The second
best selling.
selling.
Tab a little bit behind the eye, but it's definitely the best-selling Android tablet.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
Which means
Well,
that,
would be a
if they can
given.
actually do the Nook tablet stuff, and I mean they're the ones the developers should be going to begin with because they have the biggest installed base.
Well, they can say that, but
Yeah.
Amazon has a better. They have a better.
Ecosystem.
Well, they have a better ecosystem. They just have a better
Content.
pedigree for
Yeah.
that. Barnes and Noble is a bookseller.
right.
Maybe you bought a CD or something from them.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe a magazine.
Yeah.
And I think ecosystem wise, that's actually what I'm more worried about. Like, if I'm really into apps, I don't see, if I'm an app guy, I don't see myself going for either of these tablets. It's for the end-to-end media experience, and Amazon has its own video service and it has its own music service.
Amazon's video and music and their stuff is way more integrated.
Right.
I mean, they don't on the Barnes and Noble, the Nook tablet only has streaming like Mog.
Right.
They don't. They don't have
They don't have it.
Spotify.
They don't have it.
They don't
You
have.
can side load music.
No, you can sideload music,
Yeah.
but they don't have. They don't even have all the streaming services. They don't have RDO.
They don't have already.
They don't have
just announced-
Spotify.
They have Pandora. They've had the Pandora.
I mean,
one.
Pandora's old news. Nobody cares about Pandora.
I like Pandora.
And I think a big, if you're just lounging around your house, you have Wi-Fi, that's great. But I don't think that's a huge, it's a huge use for the tablets. It's one of the primary uses. But travel, being able to have stored media on your device, and
Right.
you're traveling and you're being able to entertain yourself.
I mean,
away
at least
from
some
your home.
stored media. Certainly,
Yeah.
at the very least, cache, which you can do on the Fire, from what I understand. Right, you can cache.
Yes,
It has,
Streaming.
but it has 8 gig. I mean, it's not a ton, right?
Well,
It's not a lot.
how many
It's a
movies
couple
is that?
movies.
A few movies.
It's a couple movies and a few songs, basically.
Maybe a couple.
and the
Like,
and
I
they
wouldn't
got
buy an
Hulu
8 gig
Plus.
phone.
I don't know if that matters.
Who has
to anyone.
Hulu Plus?
Barnes and Noble.
Oh, good. You can pay Hulu for nothing.
I don't know. I'm over Hulu Plus.
Yeah.
All I
Okay,
know is every time
I
I
listened
try,
to last
every time
week.
I load up Hulu Plus on my Roku, it's like, sorry, you can't watch this content on your TV, and it's like, well, I'm glad I have Hulu Plus on my Roku. What was I supposed to plug that into?
Your computer.
Was this was it for a laptop? I'm hooking my Roku into my laptop. Is this cool?
That probably wouldn't even
so,
work.
so annoying. I mean, whatever.
And
I'm not even
Netflix
gonna
was
get it.
supposed to be a differentiator for the Nook, but then Amazon came out and said that they're getting Netflix too.
Yeah. But lots of people have
Did
Netflix.
they?
I don't think
Yeah.
Netflix is a big thing anymore.
And Netflix streaming is so bad. It's the same.
There's
as
If it was-
no,
but
the
if it-
Netflix
where am I-
fragmentation is the worst.
No, but if it was
There's
like
Netflix fragmentation.
I mean the Android fragmentation of the Netflix app.
right,
Oh,
like so
okay.
you get it's the same with Skype, right?
Right.
But it's the same movie.
It's the worst. Though.
But the long and short
And
of
they-
it is that you
they
can get
play
Netflix
pretty well.
I have Netflix on my television. Okay.
Yeah.
with
it-
the one with
it-
the Roku in it.
No.
Like
but
actually
the
on
actual
TV.
television.
Oh, the actual
Netflix
te-
is everywhere.
right.
It's boring now. I mean, that's like you can get it anywhere. I
don't
don't think
have
it's
it on mine.
if they were like we're the only non-Apple tablet to have Netflix, then you'd be like, whoa, that's a value.
I do think
That's
they're
a
one of
value
the only
add.
ones.
You can get coffee makers with Netflix at this point.
Lenovo has it
Yeah,
on
that's
theirs.
right. It's like
This
set
can of Diet Coke.
as Netflix. I mean, admittedly, it's only SD, but
Yeah.
still, I just don't think Netflix
buffering
is like
times
a,
are
is,
You're the
atrocious.
only person I know who watches Netflix streaming consistently.
That cannot be true.
Here's what I want to know: how come they couldn't get?
What kind of? They have like very little selection. What do you
Yeah.
watch?
Yeah. What do you watch?
He's watching really bad crap.
yeah, you're
like
watching
2012.
horrible, horrible.
You're watching like 2012.
No. You know,
I know
like,
you watched
you
2012.
know how like they have those like Kerf movies like
Yeah,
Transmorphers.
That sounds awesome.
Are you serious?
I watched a little bit of.
I mean, you kidding me?
Transmorphers.
You actually spent any time in your life watching Transmorphers?
I was curious.
Yeah.
Is that really the
We've
name
all
of
been
the movie?
curious.
This to me makes me feel bad for you
No.
on a whole new level. Okay. Why would you spend your precious
They have
moments?
Criterion Collection on there.
Yeah, but you're.
And I watch
you're
like,
not
a bunch
watching.
of, I watch a bunch,
They have the Criterion Collection.
I watch a
but
bunch
I
of,
watch
like,
Transmorphers.
you know, home movies that like animated
Home movies
show.
is good.
No, I've noticed Netflix always has like one or two like good movies like mixed in.
They
with the
have a
crap.
lot of good content.
They have
on there.
good. If you haven't seen, I'm trying to think of a movie that's on there that you haven't seen.
Yeah, it's like if you haven't seen 16 Candles.
Let the right
Yeah.
one in.
You know what?
maybe.
I just saw
Yeah.
In the Loop. Great British comedy.
Don't know that
No,
one.
no, none of this
Great.
makes.
Right now, there's some British people like
Critically
mate,
acclaimed.
that's the best, mate.
That was Australian.
No, I'm not doing an accent. I'm just saying their words. If I was doing an accent, you know it. I'd be like, "Oi, governor,
we have to move on.
to go to the loo,"
So
or whatever a British person sounds like.
But overall,
Hold on.
I would
Junior
say
Lori.
Is there
In the
any?
lift.
Can anybody here? Sorry, my wine is gone, and I would love something else to drink. There are some beers. I don't think there's any
Ooh.
wine, but could somebody grab me something that is, whatever. What's that? Beer if there's no.
And
Yeah.
one for this guy.
And Neeli would like one as well.
Thank you.
I realize
I
that.
like some.
What would you like? Red
You have a
wine.
margarita?
We have some
What are you, John Rubenstein?
sangria.
Yeah, I would like.
Whenever anybody orders a
A white
margarita,
sangria?
no margarita.
I go, "What are you, John Rubenstein?" That's when you-
But we should.
Should we talk about the Nook Color?
Well, hold on, really quickly.
Didn't we
yes,
talk
we.
about the Nook
No,
Color?
we can. Yeah, we
Ish.
talked about the Nook Tablet, but I'd like to know
That's the
why.
same thing.
Did you talk to anybody about why they didn't feel they could match Amazon's price?
Yeah, the same the specs. The specs are better.
They're like, we have more memory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's BS.
My guess is that this was in production before,
Right.
and
They were caught
and
unawares.
they're like, oh crap.
"Ooh."
No, but see, I
And
think
they would take too big of a hit if they dropped.
no, but I
Do you-
think the bigger thing is that this was probably in production and they made their own product and they can't afford to lose money on this
Right.
product. Whereas Amazon repurposed an existing product that they
Let's not forget.
likely didn't have
It's
to
just
do
the playbook.
It's just a playbook. I mean, they spent money doing the software. I'm
playbooked
sure,
it.
but
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
last year's model.
I think it still will appeal to people, even if the
I just.
Fire is a big hit.
I
I
just
mean, they're not
wonder-
going to sell as many because of the reasons you mentioned before.
Well, I mean, Amazon. Well, and also Amazon hadn't existed the last time they were trying to sell a cheap tablet,
Right.
Right,
and now Amazon has a cheap tablet.
and they're selling
And
millions,
believe
apparently.
me, buyers don't really care that it's got the little hook on the side.
I mean,
Like they don't.
Well, you don't put that on your carabiner
I
when
put
you're
it on.
walking around town.
I looped that on my.
I do
keypad.
think there's something to a full touch experience, and obviously Nook, Barnes and Noble's already been benefiting from this.
Whoa!
There's a slight learning curve to an
up.
e-ink tablet.
does this look like a margarita?
Thank you. Who's the red wine for? Do
So I went from Pacifico to a glass of red wine. That's fine. I mean, I'll party.
you want to share this? I
mean-
can pour some into my.
Let's also publicly thank Kim for
Thank you,
getting
Kim.
this.
Thank you.
Let the world know. Thank you so much, Kim.
You leaving?
Oh.
No, he's going
For
oh,
more
I
beer?
see. Good.
Do you want this, Paul?
Okay.
This is healthy.
No, thank you.
Anyway,
I already
I
have it.
want
This is
to.
good for my heart.
I want to take a break here for a moment, and I want to ask the UStream.
yeah.
For the people who are listening to the podcast, you're not going to know. But does it bother you if we're drinking during the podcast? Is it something that is upsetting to you, or would you care? Do you have an opinion either way?
They prefer this be a dry podcast, it seems.
Yeah, no,
they're all saying no.
They're drinking as well.
Some may be insulted, says one person.
Somebody said offended. Okay, anyhow,
Let's move on.
Nook Color. So they dropped the price of Nook Color to $199, but now that's competing with the Fire. I'm sorry, but like if that's the competition, I feel like you're going to buy the Fire.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Right, because
Am I
on
stupid?
hardware is way better.
What I was saying is that like
And the ecosystem is better.
you have a color tablet. I think it's very intuitive, and if you have that in the store where
I'm the
you're
only one
already
that likes the tablet.
where you're already shopping for books, I think there's just something to seeing on a color screen. Oh, I can tap an icon of a colorful book and get that book. It's just like there's a quick through line to the idea of purchasing a book when it's a color tablet and it I don't know the
But they've been
UI
selling
or
the
something
color.
about
They've
that.
been selling the Nook Color.
Yeah, but it's slow and it's a little, I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
So it doesn't. It's a.
I'm just saying that because Barnes and Noble has brick and mortar bookstores that people are there all ready to buy books, they still have that leg up.
Yeah, that's true. But
it's not a huge leg up.
The Kindle Fire is going to be in 16,000 retailers, including Best Buy.
Right.
So
and it's
there's actually there's more Best Buys than Barnes
You're more
and
likely
Noble.
to find my mom in a Barnes
Radio
and
Shack,
Noble,
which is
than
I just got the
Best
press
Buy.
release about the Radio Shack.
Say that again?
You're more likely, still more likely to find my mom in a Barnes and Noble than a Best Buy.
We go back to the
that's what-
mom
Like
debate.
if
This is our old mom debate.
if I gave my mom a Best Buy gift certificate, she wouldn't.
I
She
know.
would
slap you in the face.
She would not be happy.
What
with
was
it.
our mom argument? Was it about the Nook, the original
You guys
Nook?
made a bet that the soccer moms were really going to go
Yeah.
for
I
the
feel
Nook.
like the moms are always
Well,
getting
the Nook's
brought
been a
up
very
here.
successful
Yeah.
product from what I could tell.
So this guy.
The original Nook?
What do you mean this guy? I think
think
I
I
was the
won.
one who was arguing for the moms.
You never argue
I was
for the
going to make
moms.
a point now.
You've
Yeah,
been
Josh-
classically
Josh was,
anti-mom.
Josh was arguing for the moms, and I thought, but there was
Yeah,
some
thank you, Paul.
bold statement about it. I don't know.
There was no like
Dominating
no
or something like that?
I don't think so. I think it was just that it was going to perform good enough to warrant a second and third version.
Yeah, Laura's just screaming, "It was me, you jerks! It was Laura." So
But
I
Laura
don't, even,
was the
I don't even
worst.
know what's
We
going
said
on in
so-
there.
No, it
But
was
let me
on the
just say
Engadget show, though.
That
I don't
the
remember.
Barnes and Noble CEO was like so like
I take a lot of credit
he
for
was
her
very
stuff.
excited about their stores, and for the reason you're talking about, Paul, is like that the moms would come in. He didn't say the moms,
Right.
And people
He was
would
like, "The ladies come in here late at
and
night."
Who said this?
Barnes
the
and
Barnes
Noble
and Noble.
CEO.
He didn't say the moms.
He was sleazy about it.
No, he wasn't.
Super
But he
sleazy.
You made it sound sleazy.
He was talking up the fact that they have these stores, then they have in-store support. So I do agree with your point.
Yeah,
Paul.
I'm
I
sorry,
do
but
think
that was an
can-
HP. Can I just say that was an HP argument about the touchpad?
Right.
Yeah.
They were like, we've got our a touchpad butlers. They're gonna train you on how to use it, and we have
In
great
person?
retail. Yes, we have
Yeah.
great retail display.
that gonna
I
be?
don't know if it was
Best
in
Buy?
person, but they intimated they would have a level of service that was just so superior that you would go, well, I was gonna buy that Amazon, but who knows what's gonna happen when I get it? If I can't
Right,
figure
they
it
said
out,
that, yeah.
but that's BS.
I believe it.
That's marketing.
I fell for it.
Yeah, but
If I was a mom, I would definitely.
Barnes
fall
and
for it.
Noble
Man, now you're
does
hating
actually
moms.
have
I need to be
stands
mom.
right now for Nooks, and there's a dude or a dudette behind that stand
Yeah.
ready to help you out.
Trapped,
Or a
unable
lady
to
bro.
leave.
Desperately
lady
trying to
bro.
convince
Forced,
you
A
that-
lady bro.
forced,
A lady bro.
forced into explaining the features of the Nook tablet to you.
to your mom.
To your mother.
Forced
I'm
to
just
talk
saying
trash about the
that's a
Kindle
leg up.
Fire.
I agree with you.
You think it's a
Paul.
leg
Yeah,
up?
I think you're there to buy a book, and there's books on those.
You know what?
devices.
That
You're-
happened to my dad. He just bought it.
Here's what's going down. Holiday
My dad's not a
shopping,
mom.
books. You're in there. You're like,
Cha-ching,
my
cha-ching.
mother would
You
love.
gotta
It's like
do
that.
this when you do it.
Free. You're there using.
My
the free
mother would
Wi-Fi.
really love
Yeah.
the Nook.
You know what you have to
tablet.
do? They've got to put
I forgot to get her a present.
I
last
didn't
year.
get her anything.
Yeah, I think
for
that's
the
what I've
last
heard
2
about your mom a
years.
lot. You talk about what you're going to get her for her birthday or
Right.
something.
What?
Paul's
I don't know.
mom.
You just
Paul talks
weirded.
about
Way to
his
weird
mom.
out the whole
Like a
podcast.
stack of
Really
Nooks in her
appreciate
house.
that.
Just wanna
This
talk to
isn't.
Paul
This
about
isn't
his
about
mom.
my mom.
I think
This
it
just
is.
like
I think it is, Paul.
A metaphorical mother.
I want to
Isn't
talk
it?
about your mom.
Is it?
Look, your mother represents America.
All right, let's move on. We got to keep going.
She's very
We
patriotic.
got to.
We're going to talk about the simple
Metaphor.
touch.
No,
No, this. What's it say?
They updated it.
It's fast page turns, right, Paul?
Very fast.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about.
Very fast.
Let's talk about the laptop that you're using right now.
Let's talk about how the battery died, and I've been pretending to use it.
Are you kidding me?
Seriously? That's real sad.
Wow.
No, I haven't. I've been watching yours.
Yeah.
But it has died. It died.
So you're using the Lenovo U300 right now. You just put up your review.
Well, let's pick it up. It looks really awesome.
It's an
Let's show the
awesome
people.
looking
It
laptop.
is an amazing looking
But can I just say,
laptop.
like, I think this is such an awesome and dare I say sexy laptop.
No, it's amazing.
You
and
did tweet sexy, and I was.
It is really handsome. Like, I think this is
And
better.
it's seasonal.
Can I just say something? I think this is way better looking than the MacBook Air or the Pro or whatever. I think this is much more attractive.
I think actually,
Can I hold it?
You can
Do you
hold
mind?
I can.
Ooh.
I will say
can
that
also
I don't
say
like
that
the
I'm not-
fingerprints on the
What
lid.
if I do?
Yeah, the fingerprints
Wow.
are annoying, and
That is disturbing.
Is it?
Super disturbing.
Why? All I do is shove
I
it in
actually
my
made it
back end.
so the Windows wouldn't boot up, so Josh wouldn't complain about Windows.
Well, I was just gonna say
I was
that.
thinking about you.
Well,
Did
but
it on purpose.
You were talking about how bad the trackpad was,
No, it's not terrible. I've seen,
but it's not as good.
worse.
It's not as. How much is this?
That one is $1,200.
So it's as much as the Air. That's the big
So-
problem.
so-
right?
so-
No, it's $100 less than the Air.
Okay, so it's $100 less than the Air. It's way heavier. How much does this weigh?
I think it's like a cup, like 0.3
It feels
pounds
way heavier to me.
heavier.
Right.
Yeah, hold on. Let me just.
The new one I'm reviewing.
Oh,
Totally,
yeah.
totally
Oh.
scientific.
Oh no! Can we? You should pull up a comparison.
You can put up,
Yeah, I
it
did.
is.
Why don't
It's
you get a
in the
comparison
review.
of the
It's in review.
13-inch new Air and this guy? This feels to me a lot heavier, but also
Have Billy switch to me
It
and
also
do this
feels
live.
really nice, though.
feels
It
okay.
feels
There's some
really-
stuff moving around here.
When you open it, there's some stuff moving around. But
Yeah, but so if I'm going to pay the same amount for that I would pay for this, the trackpad should have the same level of responsiveness and multi-touch and everything else but it doesn't, right?
It doesn't. No Windows laptop has the same sort of.
What is going on with trackpads?
It's,
How come they
it's a
can't
big
solve?
problem.
How come they
It's a
can't
big
solve
problem.
trackpads on PCs?
I'll tell you
All right.
the base of the problem. It goes really deep because I've spent hours on the phone with
hold on,
Synaptics.
Here we go. We're using our comparison tool.
This is interesting.
Uh-oh.
This one says it's 0.06 pounds lighter.
Whoa.
It's not
Are
possible.
you sure you're on the?
Yes.
This looks like
Are
Yes,
you
I
on
am.
hey,
Verge.com?
database guys.
Yeah, what's going on
No,
over
no,
there?
Are you
this
sure
is-
that-
this is what they report? I thought it was this one was.
It's not possible.
0.06.
Yeah.
Of course,
That's what it
I'm not
says.
holding this closed, so
I don't
don't
really
see.
a total.
It feels a lot heavier. Are you sure?
Let me decide.
I don't have a.
This is
This
the
is-
worst.
You know
So
what it is?
scientific
No,
right
it is.
now.
This
I
one,
need a
it's
scale.
balanced differently.
I need a scale.
You can feel that
Oh,
the
you're pulling a
battery is-
Sony. You're pulling a Sony.
No, you can feel
tablet.
The
There's
Toshiba I'm
so
reviewing now
almost-
is really light, but it
There's
feels like that.
there's more battery over
It could be
here.
my bias, my natural bias towards
It's true.
Apple products.
You can actually
So,
feel that. it's
Joanna,
heavier
I
on
would
the side.
I would actually love for you to
Definitely.
describe the touchpad problem because this
So
is
the touchpad problem is, this is really after spending the last
I mean, it
year
is beautiful.
constantly being called by Synaptics after these reviews go up because I'm always complaining about the touchpad. It really has to do with sort of the software, and because Synaptics is now running their software on top of Windows, so the integration isn't as tight as obviously we have on the Air, but also the hardware is the problem. These don't have the same sort of sensors.
Yeah.
As those.
So the problem is the hardware and the software.
Aside from those,
You know, usually when something's bad, and it's the only two things that could be bad, it's a bad sign.
Right.
yes,
Does
but,
Apple-
but primarily it is the software.
It's not like your fingers are messed up.
Does Apple have like proprietary technology that's like patented or just
Yeah.
they can't figure it
Yeah,
out?
I think they.
No, I
do.
mean,
Yeah.
I think this whole situation with the Apple's
I think.
trackpads-
I think. I
I
think.
get that feeling.
trackpads.
I
I
think.
feel like Synaptics is trying to find a workaround to be able to do the same thing.
Yeah, I think this is
which
why the
is
touch
what
response is
people
so good
want.
on the iOS devices.
Right.
Is that they're using the same or similar technology, and it's really good. I mean, it is one of those things. Actually, somebody did a post in our forums about the scrolling.
Yeah.
And they were talking about how bad it is on. I mean, this is not maybe related, but it is along the same
On
lines.
tablets, right?
And it's one of those things that's. And we've talked about this
Well,
before
on all of Android.
All of Android.
on all of Android. We've talked about this before, where it's one of those things that's very minor but extremely important, and
Yeah,
that's
it
one of my
changes the whole
and that's one of my
experience.
tests. You know, the thing where when I look at a new phone, I start scrolling back
Yeah,
and forth
yeah.
on the icons. It's all about like how's the touch response, how is the scrolling, is it smooth, is it fast, and like that's your main way of interacting with a laptop. I mean, and more like I've actually been abandoning my mouse a little bit and moving more and more to the trackpad.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And
That's a big deal.
I know, and the more I do it, the more I'm like, you know, you're reliant on that trackpad. It's got to
No,
be good.
I mean,
and you
read
buy
my
this thing, you
review
can't,
of the
you can't,
Asus.
you
The
can't,
Asus was terrible,
yeah.
hands down.
and
the
you
worst
and you
touchpad
can't
I've
swap
ever
it
used.
out. You know, it's like you've
Right.
only
No,
got a few options.
You've got to get an external mouse if you want to deal with it.
Which is
This wasn't.
like,
I'm not going to say
why
this
did I
was,
buy a laptop?
You know, on the
Should just
scale,
buy a
I think
desktop.
I gave this like a 6 on the touchpad. It wasn't. It's not the worst. It works fine.
Now,
But the Asus is terrible. I mean, literally, they
What's
have
the best Windows trackpad you've used?
Yeah, best one ever.
a normal trackpad.
What does that mean?
Just like, a regular touchpad
no
with 2 buttons.
multi-touch, none of that
with
garbage.
maybe those scroll strips.
And actually,
you're saying hardware buttons alleviate the
yeah,
problem.
and
This is what
actually
I'm
HP,
wondering.
in response not only to my reviews, but they have taken my reviews very seriously.
As
the first
people
generation of the Envy, they and some of the pavilions, they went back to using traditional touchpads.
I like hardware buttons.
Yeah,
I don't.
yeah.
I wouldn't complain. I don't think this is the best possible situation. Though I do actually tap to click, so I hardly
Right.
ever.
I tried to
you
use your
also would
computer
wanna
yesterday.
you would want to have multi-touch gestures.
What's
you know what this, I don't know if this happens to people, but if you try to use somebody else's computer, it's like you suddenly have no idea how to use a computer anymore. And I tried to
Look at
use
this.
yours while I was like sitting at your desk on a phone call, like look something up.
Yeah.
And it was insane. I don't even know what's happening.
What
in
was
that
happening?
situation.
What
It's
was
like,
happening?
That
You've
happens
got
to me
your
when I use
mouse
Ross's.
acceleration like cranked up all the way.
Yeah.
You've got tap to click turned on.
Yeah.
Like when you actually push a button, like things launch.
It is.
It's like completely bonkers.
I have it extremely like. And everybody says this whenever they ever touch my computer, and no matter what, as soon as someone touches it, they do one of my like corner moves,
Yeah, it's like-
which gets all the windows.
Everything's
and they're like, "What's?"
insane.
And they do this. They're like, "What did I just do? How do I get this back?"
Yeah.
But I'm on the move. I got to keep going. I got to move. I don't have time to
No, and
wait
it's a very
for the cursor to
particular-
move. No, but I look at other people's computers and they're so slow.
Yeah,
like
you-
yours is like. I might as well.
Precise.
Yeah, precise. It's really. I'm just like, I'm like
Look,
using
no,
multiple
you're-
fingers
you're
to
on
get the
meth
cursor
all the
down.
time.
I'm like, let me get it over to this side of the screen. Let me get it down here. I'm like using whole hand gestures to get.
Wait, so Joanna, would
Anyway,
you?
this
I'm
is
tracking.
a really, it's like a very interesting situation because I
you're
really do
powered up.
think that the touchpad, why it
Do you
might
need
not
to?
be.
Oh, you're charging.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, it's
good.
powered up now.
Would you
Is a really big deal breaker for some of these.
should they abandon multi-touch
No, I mean,
in the meantime while they're still figuring this out?
and Synaptics just reached out to me to talk about what's coming in Windows 8 because they've started to talk about what's coming
They
in
finally
Windows 8.
cracked it.
And they're going to be working, I think the major problem here has been that Microsoft hasn't been using their driver. Like, Microsoft hasn't been integrating their drivers at the
Right.
system level, right? So, actually, the Microsoft Touch Mouse, which I had in, works really well.
Oh, really?
Extremely well. And there's actually like an expose sort of setting where, like, if you do 4 fingers up, it will do, like, all the windows and that sort of thing. They did the drivers there, right? They didn't use Synaptics drivers. They didn't use Elan text drivers.
They integrated hardware and software. Is what
They
you're
did
saying.
it. And yeah, exactly. So that's the missing piece. And I think that will hopefully come in Windows 8, but I don't know.
That just seems weird to me just because, I mean, isn't the whole point of being able to create software drivers for hardware is that it is integrated? I mean, maybe I'm not smart. Maybe I don't understand how this works. Is there a deeper kernel level where you have to integrate
Well,
this?
I do believe that.
Well, I'm actually a hardware driver.
It's funny you should
developer.
mention that. I was just working on a new hardware driver. No, but I actually think that one of the advantages with the Mac is that there are deeper integrations.
I mean, but
Absolutely.
But Apple builds a software driver for its touchpad that runs in Windows.
I don't think they.
No,
Oh, that's
yeah,
true.
they do.
And it's pretty good.
And
They
that's
have
actually
better
another
hardware and
They
huge
have
better
the best
point.
laptop
What are you saying?
touchpad. So that's just what
The best Windows trackpad is still the Mac.
Right.
Yeah.
And so
I mean, it works so well.
So let
So
me
if
ask you a
Apple
question.
can do this,
What-
why can't Synaptics?
So if that's $100, that's $100 less than this, right?
Yeah, but you're losing a lot of stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
that was kind of the last
You also,
point of the
that's
review.
the last point of the review, which is
Right.
that you don't get an SD card slot, which is
Okay.
a big deal, and
Okay.
the screen resolution is low.
And there's no
Okay.
backlit keyboard.
Okay,
which
so
is
hold
a
on.
deal breaker.
So hold
Yeah,
on.
that's not a
So
huge
I
deal
just want to be
breaker.
clear.
That's
This is
you
their.
type at night a lot. I
This
don't know
is
what you do.
their.
I don't know what you do.
This is
Have you heard my
Lenovo.
album, Typing at Night? It's a collaboration with Rupert
You know
Holmes
what?
I did.
Maybe I should go.
What?
Maybe Paul and I should go. And
Yeah.
You guys can just do the podcast.
That sounds like a good
Is that what
idea.
you
Get
thought?
out.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Podcasting.
Just kidding. I'm not going anywhere ever, ever, Nilay. So this is considered an ultrabook.
This is an
Yeah.
ultrabook.
It has a Core i7,
Core i5,
Core i5 clocked at what?
1.8.
Okay,
I can tell you.
and
Hold on.
it
1.6.
how much memory?
You've got the 1.8.
This is 4.
4 gigs.
Yep.
How much storage?
Well, this one is Core i7. The other one is this high one.
So you have the
4
how
gigs.
much is this one?
4 gigs of memory.
This one,
I'm never gonna
what
get
did I
my
say?
info here.
1400, I believe.
Okay. Well, because there's the base model is
1500?
1200.
Well, I want to. Yeah. So I just want to get some things clear because I want to compare some items. So this is a Core i7, right? I've got the most spec'd out, highest spec model, clocked to 1.8, right? Isn't that the highest spec model of the Air?
Yeah.
Okay. That's 1400. Oh, so that's not. This is the high end to low end, but
Yeah.
But wouldn't it just make more sense to get one of these
And put Windows on it.
and put Boot Camp on it, put Windows on it?
Well, you got to pay for Windows, so you'll end up. But whatever. I mean,
Yeah,
Windows
but
is
then
like
but
$100
you have to have the computer for years.
Right.
So why buy something that's going to be a crappier experience?
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, this is basically the thread of every single one of your ultrabooks
Yes,
reviews
every
so
single
far.
one.
That is, it's
Everyone screams at me for comparing it to the Air.
Well, but why? You can run Windows on the Air.
Right. That's what I always say in the
I'm
comments.
not trying to knock Lenovo. I really like this hardware, but
no,
it
it's
seems
beautiful,
to me
right?
seems to me if you're getting a crappier experience and spending about the same amount of money.
Okay, so the starting price is $1,200. Okay, this one rings up at $1,500.
Okay, I don't know what's the spec of that?
This is
This is the i7.
i7
With 4 gigs.
clocked at 1.8,
1.8.
4 gigs of RAM. How much storage?
128.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And it's 1,500.
Actually, wait, this one's 256.
That's good.
So
That's
it's
pretty good.
cheaper. It's
Yeah.
cheaper.
Yeah,
You don't
this
get
one's
SD, no
256.
backlit keyboard, lower resolution screen,
Right.
and the trackpad sucks.
Right.
Yeah.
To me, lower resolution screen and trackpad is bad, are like way more important than almost anything else that you mentioned.
Right.
I mean, those are like the two things that you have to interact with the most.
The
touchpad
touchpad
and
isn't
trackpad.
terrible, though. That's what I'm going to say. I mean, that is definitely the best. But if you,
Fanboy.
it's not terrible.
You terrible fanboy. All right.
Are we moving on?
Let's
Are we
move
letting
on.
you go?
I mean, we're
Do you have to
moving
go
on.
now?
You want to hang out?
What are you talking about now?
She has
The
a half
Razr?
an hour.
I'm talking about this thing.
I'm just going to randomly.
You know, it'd be great as a
in the
snack.
middle.
We should have snacks on this.
We should. You know, we're talking about this guy.
little break
And
times.
actually, this works. This is a good segue because when we're talking about like the two things that are most important, being the screen and the touch response, the Razr is a really good example of like really awesome hardware that's completely like kind of ruined for me by the screen. Hey, look at that! Take this thing away from me.
Wow,
I don't
that's
want this.
dedication.
I don't want this anymore.
Thank you.
Kim.
Thank you, Kim.
Take this.
No,
grape juice away
I'm
from me.
good.
Bartender, thank you.
Yeah,
I'm
he's-
starting to regret
well,
not having the red wine. now
Yes,
that
we
I
reviewed.
have it.
You want that one back?
We,
I drank from it.
I would have
It's
definitely
dirty.
had the
Go on.
No, so we reviewed the Razr this week. Motorola and Verizon were very kind to me. They gave it to me with 1 day to review, which is always nice.
Verizon likes to.
They
That's
really
okay.
They
like
don't
they
want
did
you
with
to
the Bionic
spend. They
too,
don't want you
right?
to spend too much time with the phone.
They don't
No,
want you to look
actually,
at it
it's
too much.
Motorola.
You think it's Moto?
It's-
No, I
yes,
don't think so.
It is.
I don't think so.
Verizon never has embargoes. It's Motorola.
Interesting.
Well, that seems worse.
Remember the Atrix?
Remember the Atrix.
Remember when they gave you 24 hours to do the Atrix?
Hey,
The
the Bionic was the same
The
deal,
Atrix
right? Remember?
with the laptop and the HD dock and the regular dock.
And you put up like I remember a stub post. You were just like,
Check
we're
it
gonna,
out.
We're gonna spend our time with this, but this
Yeah.
is the embargo.
Mhm.
This
Right.
is Motorola for sure. If you're listening, Motorola, it's really terrible what you do.
Yeah.
Well, soon they'll be controlled by Google and it won't matter.
You know, I feel like it's true.
It's true.
You know, I feel like there's a lot of similarities to the Atrix too, because I remember how excited you were for the Atrix.
Yeah.
And
I had way less excitement about
And
this phone.
when I went to the Razr event, I came back and I was like, I'm really excited for the Razr after holding it and like looking at it just at the event. I was like, it's beautiful, it's thin.
You were gushing about it,
Yeah,
which
I
I
was-
thought was weird because I had zero excitement.
And you thought
And
it was
Eli
really
hates
ugly.
everything.
And I hate
I
everything.
do think it's an ugly phone.
so. I got it.
Fundamentally ugly.
It's enormous. That's the thing about it that I think is really crazy. Is
But I think all phones are ugly.
yeah, you do.
I mean, I don't think the Galaxy Nexus is a very good looking phone.
I mean, it is what it's a black.
It's
phone.
ugly.
right?
Can I tell you that the Galaxy Nexus holding in your hand is way more comfortable than this thing?
Well, it's
I know.
enormous. Like
Believe
I mean,
me.
I have like big hands,
Oh,
and
you
it's
know?
like big.
I know.
Do you have normal size hands? I'm
I
assuming
have
you do.
girl hands.
She
You
doesn't.
have lady hands.
This
They're
is so uncomfortable. This
It is
hurts.
really
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
I
It's
just
like
put this in my
wide.
hand and
It's
it hurts.
big,
It's
and there's
thin
actually
and wide.
Yeah, and these edges. It's these edges in my. I
Horrible.
This
Yeah.
hurts. This is hurting.
They
me.
should be sent.
Let's
Somebody,
go to the
somebody at
hospital.
Motorola should be sent to prison for that. I'm going to see to it.
I mean, I will say it's remarkable that they built
should-
an LTE phone that is as thin. It's the thinnest phone on the market. Nobody else has managed to do that.
It is thin,
Did this go through testing?
except for
don't
that bump, that huge bump on the one part.
Well, it's not actually. I mean, it's smaller than the bump on the Droid X and the bump on the
If they
Bionic.
should have had better edges.
I don't mind like the Motorola bump. It doesn't bother me. I'm just saying it's
The
remarkable
Moto
that they
bump?
build this thing that nobody else can build.
The Moto
Um,
Bumpler.
But the screen, I think the screen is terrible, and it's a pentile display. It doesn't have white pixels. It only has the pentile arrangement of green, blue, and red. So it has kind of more green.
A lot
pixels.
of fuss about this pentile stuff.
I don't like it.
What is stopping everybody from making a Retina display quality display?
That is definitely not it. And it got to the point.
What is going on?
They said they went for pentile because of the thinness, right?
Right. Well, they said they went for AMOLED because
AMOLED.
of the thinness.
It's also battery considerations.
Right.
It strikes me that Android just simply isn't. They're not good enough at doing battery management.
You really can see it.
Oh, you can really see it. It's not.
Keep in mind, it's also
surprising to me.
QHD.
Right. So I think that's what advanced means. So at the event,
This is 4.3.
4.3 QHD, which is
Right.
what they've done. In a lot
Think
of
about
their
the Galaxy
devices.
Nexus is 4.65 at 720.
Right.
Pretty big bump in
so
pixels.
This is like a big question now because that's pentile too.
Yeah, it's pentile, but it's a huge bump in pixels.
It's really.
But I don't know if it's a huge bump in density because of the size.
It is
of the display.
it is a bump in density.
It's a dump.
It's a dump in density. No, but it is a bump.
Let's find out.
I don't know. I thought it looked good when I saw it. I thought it looked really good.
But you use a Nexus S, which has a pentile display.
The Nexus S is a nightmare beyond description.
Right.
No, I mean the display is not. It's not going to ruin this phone.
So the
The feel of it is going to ruin this phone.
I mean, it is. I mean, it's as
Do you
big
have anything
as.
else to say about it?
It's as big as the S2.
It's just like the Bionic, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's the no. The skin I think is crazier. Actually, I think the Bionic skin is one
I
step
don't get
down.
it.
Crazier.
Yeah, I don't get the craziness.
So I will say this: the Nexus S has a DPI of 315, and this one is like 265. So it's a big bump in pixel density.
The Nexus
or, I'm
S
sorry, the Galaxy Nexus
This is nice, easy
has
access
315.
Right here.
315,
Right, and this is
265,
a huge difference.
enormous.
315 is close to the Retina display. It's 322.
20. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
It's 326.
2026. That's
Yeah.
what it's. I mean, it's 10 pixels off. So you're dealing with.
So yeah, there's a chance it's gonna be great. I mean, I think that.
I thought it looked good. I think that the color reproduction is a question.
Right, because I know you think that your Nexus S display is kind of greenish, right?
It's an awful display.
Yeah.
I wouldn't wish.
But
it
I'm
on
saying
worst
it's the
enemy.
same display as this fundamentally, right? It's a little lower resolution. It's
Yeah.
WVGA.
Yeah.
I just think like
It doesn't. I don't have to look at Moto Blur on the
and
display.
that's actually what I said in the review. Is I was like, it's a bad display that looks worse because of Moto Blur or whatever they're calling it. And I
I'm
think
just tired
those are
of.
the
I'm
problems.
just tired of aggressive phones that are like attacking me.
Yeah,
The commercials for this thing are out of control.
the angles on
I'm trying
the
to
corners, it's the same
manage
with
your
their
mode
new
of action.
tablets.
Oh yeah.
the new
Oh,
Zooms
I'm wearing the
Yeah.
watch.
are really aggressive and
see
scary.
this?
I want to like.
They are. They are. They're. It's the Motorola's whole trip and Verizon's
What can I
is
do
like
with
this
this?
aggressive,
You have to call me or text me.
angry, macho,
Yeah.
Kevlar,
Yeah.
Yeah.
shotgun.
No,
It's
have you
like-
seen the
it
one
is-
with the motorcycle that like breaks into the van? This is like the best one. I think it was released today.
Did you say a motorcycle that
Yeah.
breaks into the van?
I
Yeah.
want to show it to our viewers.
Oh, you're
I'm
showing it
showing
to
you.
them?
I'm wearing the watch.
Is this helpful when you see it like this?
cool.
I don't think this is
This,
helpful at all.
by the way, this watch is. We'll have a review.
We should
next
just do
week.
the podcast. We'll just hold up gadgets like draw
Yeah.
your own
Is
conclusions.
it helpful when I cut Neil's neck?
Oh my god.
You could. You could slice the jugular with that.
No, have you seen the ad?
Can
The
I
ad.
see
The
it?
ad is like
Yeah, that's
it's a
what I
nice.
was-
It's a nice little short film that has nothing to do with the product.
That's me stabbing you and then
No, actually,
ripping
speaking
up
of
in
the
your
ad,
chest cavity and
one of
letting
our
your guts
readers
fly out.
wrote a great sort of
Yeah.
forum post on the ad.
Somebody like that, Kim. I'm worried about you if you like
Death
that
of a
joke.
lamppost. I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
it's
Yeah.
a great. It's a,
Yeah,
I
it's one of the
responded.
best posts that we have.
Death of a lamp.
It's the best thing I've ever read.
It's.
Yeah,
I've
it's
actually
not
seen
true.
it. What's crazy about that post is I keep seeing it. People are tweeting it. I'm
Yeah.
like, ooh, what's this? And then I realize it's not somebody who has been employed yet. Not been employed yet.
Watch
It's
yourself.
a
By the
great.
Verge.
You know what? It would be a great name for like a version of Narnia with zombies. Death of a Lamppost.
What if I did this and all of a sudden my beard? That'd be shocking, wouldn't it?
So one last
you
thing to say
shaving
about
with
this
it?
phone is the thing that's awesome about it is quick actions,
Actually,
which are
can you show
sweet.
that?
quick actions are cool.
Yeah.
Somebody should steal that idea and put it in a phone that I want.
I mean, Paul and I
like
set one up.
There's like 3 or 4 Android apps like already available.
Yeah, but none of them. I've played with them a little bit. None of them are as good or as integrated as quick
People are,
actions.
by the way, Paul, people are like hitting on you in the Ustream like heavily.
Oh really?
While we're having this conversation, they're like
Get in there, Paul.
they're like offering you hugs and talking about how cute you
So
are.
for the podcast listeners,
Saying you look a
who
little too
don't
dark
know,
though. Go on.
podcast listeners who don't know, quick actions, they monitor a bunch of stuff on the phone, and you can set them up to do all kinds of crazy. We had it on Sunday night. We had it so that every time I unplugged the headphones, I sent Paul a text message that said I've unplugged my headphones, which you probably don't want to do, but I mean it's that level of flexibility
That's
that you
cool.
can.
Is
What-
apparently, sorry, I'm distracted. Apparently, my shirt is the
Oh, it's
pattern on
moire.
it is.
Yeah.
Sorry, are you not seeing the 3D pattern that my shirt is projecting?
Yeah.
Go on. It's like one of those. Remember those pictures that were hot? Really hot. What
No,
are they called?
I've been looking for a
I
boat
forget.
in your shirt.
You could buy them in like a kiosk in the middle of the mall.
Yeah, and you cross your eyes.
And it's like an orca
It's
whale.
one of the dumbest things that humans have ever come out with. They're like, you see a 3D image appear in this
Magic Eye.
in this sea of garbage. Magic Eye.
Magic
Yeah.
Eye. Oh,
I'd
you
like
guys
to
know
point
that
out-
name?
It looks like a sea of crap, but if you cross your
Have
eyes,
you guys never
It's a
seen
schooner, not a
Mallrats?
Yeah, schooner, not a sailboat.
Right, it's a schooner. He finally sees it at the end.
Yeah, it's a schooner.
I have no idea what you're talking
You've never seen Mallrats?
You've never
you have
seen
nothing to do
Mallrats?
but watch the worst movies on
No,
Netflix
that might be on
exist.
Netflix.
And you've never seen
I
Mallrats?
do you've
a
seen
lot of other
Transmorphers. You don't need to see Mallrats.
That might be on
Sometimes I
Netflix.
ride my bike places. I do a lot of things with my
you wearing your
I
helmet?
just don't even know how you spend your time, man. I'm
play
giving you a list.
He reads on his
StarCraft?
phone.
By the way, I think Joanna, people are accusing
Play.
you of stealing the answer about Magic Eye from the Ustream. Did that happen?
No, I swear to God.
Don't lie to me.
Swear. I referenced it earlier in the day.
You did?
Yeah.
Why?
I've been
Because-
talking about Magic
You were talking
Eye
about
for a week.
let me-
You saw my shirt?
Let me tell you a story about what happened in our chat room.
God, if only we had some music to go with this.
I kept seeing these slashes with the circle, like an emoticon.
The high fives.
The
I know what
high
you're talking
five.
about.
But I had no idea what that was. And I kept saying, I don't see it.
By the way, this circle is the letter O.
Can you put one in the use? Oh, that's a high five?
And I kept seeing it in our chat room. And
I thought that was like this.
Me
It's not
too.
this.
No.
What's this?
Wait. This
And-
this one is like I don't know. I give up. But
And I
It's
kept
not the
saying-
goat. That's not the
but an
goat.
O with one slash is like an
Ross?
invitation to high five.
Yeah, and
Oh,
so then
yeah.
you do it backwards.
Oh
You do
yeah, that makes sense.
And I didn't know what it was. And everyone kept saying it's a high five. I said, I don't see it. I was literally
Oh, I
staring
see.
at the screen for
I got
like
it. I got the
5
Waiting
goat.
to
I got the
cross your
goat now.
eyes.
Yeah,
Thank
and I
you.
was like, this is like a magic eye.
Yeah.
And that was the story.
A magic guy.
A magic guy high
Yeah.
five.
That's me purposely mishearing you.
Oh yeah. No,
Yeah.
Let's move on. What were we talking about? The razor? Whatever.
We were
Sorry,
talking about this.
Oh,
little
quick
circle.
action,
How do
smart
we do
action.
Oh, quick actions.
smart actions. I've been calling them quick actions.
What are quick
yeah.
actions?
They're actually smart
Do you
actions.
still have the
Quick
action?
actions are from WebOS, right?
Do I still have? I can set one up right this second.
No,
Have your phone?
I've been always gonna see it.
I
so.
set one up where like every time you unplug your headphones,
we were there. You were checking your email, buddy. We talked about it.
Yeah, but the people in the podcast haven't
you
heard
already
about
talked
it.
about
No, I said it on the
He was checking
podcast.
his
I wasn't
email?
listening.
I know. No one ever listens.
What did you say?
I was.
I said
looking
when I
to-
unplug my headphones, it sends Paul a text message.
That's right.
What does it say?
It says I've unplugged my headphones.
It's awesome. But
No,
why?
it says Neil Eyes unplugged.
Yeah.
But what's the problem?
Oh, I can do it over here.
Whoa!
All right, zoom in on
look
me.
at
We're
this.
gonna do this. We're all gonna do this together.
Camera operator.
I need some headphones, guys.
You're wearing them.
It's not gonna work.
Oh, you mean another? You need another pair.
Yeah. yeah.
There are
So,
interns springing into
got-
action.
you
We
got-
got them. Here we go.
can you see this?
Joanna, can you help?
Give me these.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So unplugged.
Are we talking about WebOS next?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
And
I'm going to
then
definitely leave before
send
that.
text
No, you're not.
message.
Yes,
You're
I
not
am.
going anywhere.
I am.
I'm gonna turn this away so I can select Paul Miller's.
Though I do
phone
want to talk
number.
about Meg Whitman.
I know you do.
Paul, is that your number?
I love her.
Which one? Which one should I pick?
Don't use any of those numbers. Was
Fi-
his number just
509.
on?
509.
Don't say 509. Now they know part of the number. It's just a few more steps, and they're going to call you and be like, "Hey, I saw your hair. What's going on? Did you turn evil?"
All right.
There's a lot of debate about my hair, by the way, today.
Really?
All right. So now this thing's set up. So can you see this, Chad? So when I plug in the headphones, it's set up to launch RDO. I'm just gonna do that.
There's some hilarious stuff going on in Houston.
And then when I unplug the headphones, Paul's gonna get a text message,
Can you see that?
which is
Yeah,
really,
so-
really foolish, but really awesome as well. Is that working? If
Waiting.
this
I
doesn't
saw
work,
it pop up the.
yeah, there you go. Paul
we
just
go.
got a text
What do I
message.
get?
Can you show that to the viewer?
Yeah.
It didn't
I mean,
show
it's foolish, but the fact that
oh,
you can.
because it's not iMessage.
Oh. Well, you can show the
Um,
number. It's not ours.
Dude, no headphones.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what it says?
It's my new party message.
Wow. So
That's how you know
let's-
I'm, like, ready
but
to go.
practical use.
So the practical usage is you set it
Because
up.
that is
It's
not.
so, now that there's like notifications on the phone, it's so hard to open up the phone without revealing everything
you send
about
an
my personal
email?
life.
yeah,
Like,
you can send an
I've got
email.
like a calendar item for lunch.
but it's
That's what I would do.
People know that I eat lunch.
So
You're
here's the
done.
thing about the
You're
email
done.
client. All the smart action stuff isn't integrated with Gmail. It's integrated with Motorola's like janky proprietary email thing, which
So
is
you have to
dumb.
set that up.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah, it's really annoying.
See, I would have it set
Out
up
of
that
my
if my
face with
battery
that.
was dying, it would email me.
and actually, the mail icon that they put on the front
I don't have
home
my phone
screen
out always.
is not Gmail. It's Motorola email.
Yeah, they want you to tap into their ecosystem.
Which makes me so
Their
sad.
mail ecosystem.
It's one more part of the skin that's like super overwrought. But you're asking what it would be useful for.
Yes.
It knows where you are. So like when you go
What?
home, it knows that you're home. It can turn off Bluetooth because you probably won't use Bluetooth at home.
Nice. That's
it
good.
can turn the display down. It
It's
knows
like Siri with no voice.
Yeah, no, but you have to do it all
And
manually.
no information.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
But like automatic.
yeah, it
usefulness.
knows like you come to work.
I guess
turn my
see
ringer
that
off.
would be great. Okay,
Like Siri doesn't do those things for you. It just knows.
can you
them
set up
about
an
you.
action like at X o'clock every night?
Yep.
Do X, Y, and Z.
Absolutely.
That's nice.
I mean, that's awesome.
Everything,
Everything.
Like every function on the phone can
Mostly
be
every
manipulated.
like system function.
I mean, that is if there's one thing that Google boosts after they get a hold of Motorola.
I mean, this is awesome. Yeah.
They should pull that in because that is like that's actually like you can advertise that as a thing that is cool that the iPhone does not do.
Right.
Wait,
Don't worry,
wait.
they
Why?
won't, though.
Why would you want to advertise features of your phone?
Yeah,
No, no,
exactly.
it
Yeah,
can
why not just
kill
advertise
people.
the mood of your
Yeah.
phone?
Yeah, like
The vibe of
Unless it
robot.
can kill a
but that is the
robot,
weird
it's not gonna
thing.
be advertised.
Apple specifically advertises features. They're like, here, it does this thing. Isn't that
No,
cool?
so all
Dude,
the-
that's
look-
what this guy said in the thing. That's what I said in my rhyme editorial. This is just they should just listen to us.
Right. So, by the way,
like
all
when
the
I was
people in the
telling Palm how to
Ustream
do
who
their
are saying
advertising.
Tasker
They
and
don't
Locale
listen.
do these things, they do them, but they're not as integrated, and they're definitely not as smooth.
Tasker is an Android app.
Yeah. I mean, you can play with it, and people should go check them out. But they're not like free on the phone that you buy, and they're definitely not as integrated and not as smooth. And that's
Well,
like,
I'm
that's the
going
truth.
They're
to.
freaking out about this Tasker.
I'm
Yeah,
going- wow.
Tasker's great. Everybody should go try it out. if you
I'm
have an Android
going
phone.
to check out Tasker on my
I
Nexus
think
S.
Locale is the other
Right
one that's
now.
really good.
What's the best one, Tasker or Locale?
I think they're all saying Tasker.
They are all saying Tasker.
Except
Then
for
as
this
we
guy
said,
says
Tasker
Tasker
sucks.
sucks.
Yeah, exactly.
I like
Beautiful.
Tasker is for losers.
Yeah.
People who are into like baggy clothing. He's a loser. You know him, always wearing Jenkos. All right. I don't know if you guys
Right.
get
So
the
this
Jenkos
person who's saying
reference,
Tasker's
but-
awesome,
I
but
need to go
too
to dinner.
confusing for most people. That's like the thing about smart.
Yeah, I don't
actions.
want to have to do calculus to figure out how to get my phone to power down its Bluetooth when I get home.
Yeah, no, this is like you push a button, it turns it off.
I'll
That's
look
really
into it.
simple.
I'm going to do a quick Google search right now
Tasker.
for Tasker.
Are you leaving,
Yeah.
Stern?
It's got a
Well-
great
Well,
website.
enjoy dinner.
Enjoy talking.
You know,
about
I have to be
WebOS.
home early to be lonely.
Was
so-
that wow?
To be lonely.
That was sarcasm, wasn't it?
What?
It's got a great website.
yeah, that's an awful website.
Is it? That's not the
Goodbye,
right
everyone.
website,
I'm
is
gonna
it?
move over, so I'm not
Rock
calling
and
it
roll
Paul.
because I won't be here later.
Really? You preemptively Sternburn me? That's terrible.
Was that a Sternberg? Because people were
was.
asking for it
It was.
earlier.
It really was.
I think I
Paul,
found the right
I'm
website.
gonna
Wow,
miss you
this
both.
was
What are we
even worse.
What are we doing?
I'm just moving over.
Okay.
That's all that's happening.
What's happening?
Wait, wait. There's going to be a whole chair between us.
Yeah, I know. We're gonna be really far
I
apart.
thought you were saying there's gonna be a hole between you.
What if you move that chair out
No, I'm just gonna
and
do
then
this.
keep this?
Chad and this microphone's going
Is this
away.
preferable?
We gotta be TV close.
You want me to be closer?
Yeah, so just pop that chair
Yeah,
out.
you really screwed up. What you need to do is get rid of that chair and just kind of get more centered.
That's
Take
what I'm
this
saying.
away.
Do you want me to
You
adjust
don't
this?
need to be 100,000 feet away.
I would like to be 100,000 feet away. Chad,
I
what
wish-
is the farthest away I can get?
I wish you guys could see Chad right now. He looks very frustrated.
I think
and
Chad's
upset.
sick. Chad, are you sick, buddy?
He's sick of
Yeah.
our BS. All right, next topic.
Yeah.
Uh,
What is our next topic?
it's WebOS.
No,
it's
it's
actually.
Paul.
I'm sorry, it's Paul. It's Paul's. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Paul, you
I'm
did
so
a- you
excited
did a
about
bunch.
WebOS that I just want to go right to it.
You did a bunch of work this week.
Paul, if you guys haven't seen this, and can somebody drop the link into chat? What's wrong with me? Into our chat room. Paul did a feature on robots. It was kind of about Dennis Hong, who is, what is his official title? He's just a professor of.
He's a professor of mechanical engineering, and he runs the Romola lab at Virginia Tech.
Basically like mad scientist robot guy at Virginia Tech. And you went down there, you did a bunch of video stuff, you wrote this gigantic feature that was extremely awesome and also huge.
Yeah.
Huge, as some people might call it.
Huge.
And had it's incredible video with it, tons of awesome pictures. But I mean, what would you say? Can you sum up? What would you say was the gist of your piece for people who maybe haven't read the 5,000? It's really, you should read the whole thing if you can take the time, sit down, take a break from work, take a break from all your worries, and read Paul's piece because it's super interesting. Did anybody drop it into the chat room yet? Somebody should. I'm sure somebody will, Laura or somebody. But give us the outline, the broad strokes.
I mean, the basic thing that I discovered, I've been kind of really interested in robotics for a long time, and I love robotics, but
Paul is our resident robotics expert.
it's hard to be. I don't know a lot about robotics just because it's a very wide field, and when you get down to the nitty gritty, there's a wide range of disciplines of like electronic engineering, computer science, mechanical engineering, and like each of those is vast and deep, and robotics is like really hard. It's really difficult, and so it's easy for me.
Really?
To
You didn't think it was just like
I've written
start pushing things together, they become ambulatory.
I don't know, I've written
Dude, I
things
built
in
like
the-
50 robots when I was a kid. I don't know.
I've
You don't
written
have a
things in the
robot?
past about robotics and what robotics need to be doing to gain consumer adoption, and I stand by them. It's just that those things are really hard to achieve.
Right.
And being able to spend a lot of time, interviewing people in the robotics community, visiting this lab, and like going really in depth on a specific robot that they're building called Sapphire.
Yeah.
Just kind of, I try to like expose the actual depth of the problem, and I still had to cut out a lot of stuff because there's just so much that goes into building a robot.
Is your idea about robots, is it changed from getting this deeper look at?
I still love robots.
What
just
is it?
as
What
much.
is it you love about robots? Can you tell me?
I don't know.
Can we try to explore it?
I think there's a dream in my mind of me asking a robot to go get something out of the kitchen. It's a basic laziness.
You want a butler.
Yeah,
a human will do that for you too for money. You don't have to have a robot do it.
Yeah, but it'd be cooler if a robot does it.
Do you feel like there'll be less guilt associated with it?
I think if you look at all the things that we have our existing electronic devices do, it's about saving time, increasing convenience.
So there's a bunch of transmorphers in there. They were like transmorph just randomly.
Like
Is transmorphers about robots, by the way?
yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really badly rendered.
I was gonna say they're like we didn't have the
really
time or the
terrible.
servers to really do the right job on
That's
this.
right.
Anyhow, go on.
All the things that we use our smartphones for and our laptops for and our microwaves for, a lot of this stuff is just to make things more convenient.
You're
and faster.
imagining a robot that will take calls for you and also have like
a microwave,
a stomach piece where you can put a sandwich into to get it
I
heated
just think
up.
robots.
That guy right there.
Yeah.
Robots aren't that interesting to the tech industry right now, but I think 5 to 10 years, it's going to be
They're going to be the
smartphone
smartphone
or the tablet.
You think
because
how long do you think? Is it 5 years?
It's closer to 10 years.
Yeah.
I think there will be a landmark product in about 5 years that will start entering our homes.
Do you think Apple will create it?
No.
Let me ask you.
So who's
It's
going to
iRobot.
be?
It's going to be iRobot.
Wait, so let me ask you this question. So here's one thing I got from Hong and from you is that there's so many different things that are tied into robots and making robots go. I mean, do you think this breakthrough product will be like an ambulatory robot that can go to your fridge?
Yeah, you think it's going to be like
or it will be? I look at like Siri and I look at like the Roomba, and I'm like, these are robots. They're just different kinds.
I mean,
of robots.
they're also in similar stages.
Right.
Siri is to voice recognition what the Roomba is to a robot that helps you around the house.
Right. No,
I mean,
that's fair.
maybe
Yeah.
Siri's a little more
Sounds
advanced.
About right.
So I don't. It's obviously going to be a combination of some of those things.
So iRobot is building a robot called Ava, which I really think is going to be the one once they get it all figured out that can kind of map
This
out
one's the creepiest.
the big dog.
The big dog is the creepiest.
The big
robot
dog
I've ever
is
seen.
the big
So
dog.
awesome.
Well, that's like the thing we reported on way back in the day at Engadget, which was that hover thing that would just had a bunch of guns on it.
Oh no! The big dog is the one that has 4.
No, I
legs.
know, I understand that. I'm saying that the big dog is terrifying to watch.
Yeah, right.
There are certain robots that are terrifying. There's a robot. I can't think of the name of it. It's a very. It looks like what's the name of this robot? I just saw.
Petman?
Yes.
Yes.
Pitman.
Petman.
Oh, Petman. Right. Petman is terrifying.
Right.
Petman is like he's a Terminator.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see how somebody might take control of Petman and use him to attack you and kill you.
And I think Petman is probably, in some senses, the most advanced robot right now. The problem is that it uses an external power supply.
How mad is Hong about Petman? Do you think? No, seriously.
I have no idea. I mean, he references the stuff that they're doing. He referenced Big Dog in my interviews with him. So the problem with CMU is that they're doing stuff for the military, and they basically won't show it to anybody. They show these YouTube videos every once in a while to show how awesome they are, but they don't really.
But see,
get
that's
in depth.
it's not going to be
They're not sharing their knowledge.
And what's going to happen is they're going to come up with like a robot soldier.
Right.
And then
Yeah,
that's like then it's game
that's
over.
the problem.
Yeah.
You know, with iRobot.
That's what they need to do, because then it's like nuclear weapons can be completely decommissioned.
No.
Yeah.
How's
You
that
just put
connected
them
to
on the robot
nuclear-
Because once you have a robot soldier, you can do anything you want.
Yeah, this is
think
basically the
that-
plot
I don't
of
understand
Terminator.
that.
Have you ever played Metal Gear?
I played the original.
And have you understood one
PlayStation.
element of anything that's going on in a Metal Gear game? Because
Why
that
are you
is the
so-
future of robot soldiers.
I don't know what's the latest in Metal Gear. What do they do?
Well, it's 4, right?
No.
Guns of the Patriots.
Yeah, what happens?
I don't know. I played it for like 75 hours. I have no idea what happened.
How is that the future then?
I don't
That
know.
was my experience with
That's
Metal Gear. I was like, I don't know what's happening.
No, it was
Something's
awesome.
But the robot in the original Metal Gear is a nuclear weapon.
Metal Gear.
Right.
Metal Gear
Yeah.
is a nuclear weapon.
Yeah, no, I
Right.
get that, but
But then in 4, by the time he gets
okay,
to solid
fine. Okay,
4,
okay, fine.
It's a
okay,
patriotic
Okay,
nuclear
you can't decommission nuclear weapons, but
right?
suddenly your army gets way more badass if you have robot soldiers.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt.
You're like, oh, you guys are sending humans to the battlefield? Well, we've got a bunch of robots
Yeah.
that have no mercy and have no sense of who you are or what you're doing and just want to kill you.
The problem with that, there will be advances there that will trickle down, but typically military technology takes like a decade or two to trickle down.
I mean, have you
And
ever seen
so-
the movie Hardware?
No.
One of my
Have you ever
favorites.
seen the movie Robot Jocks?
Yes.
Yes.
Hardware is one of my favorite sci-fi movies. It features a cameo from Lemmy from Motorhead, who I was in a bar with in L.A. Not like with him, but I was in a bar with him. He was at the bar. Can I just say something just totally off
getting
topic?
really deep here.
I was in L.A. and Lemmy from Motorhead was in a bar that I was in, and he was playing like video trivia at the bar. It was the craziest thing. If you know who Lemmy from Motorhead is, it's one of the most bizarre things, and I was pretty stunned. Anyhow, but Hardware is a movie where it's like a robot that was used by the military, a killing machine, is brought home as
Like
an
Johnny Five.
is brought home
Yeah.
as an art project and puts itself back together and goes on a kill crazy rampage.
That sounds awesome.
It is awesome.
So
there's
that's
also like an X-rated sex scene in it that they edited for the U.S. version.
Oh, weird.
It's
Wait,
still
with
pretty,
the robot or without the robot?
Not the robot's not involved, but it's pretty sexy.
I mean, that's basically the opposite of the Short Circuit movie.
Yeah.
It really
Where,
is.
like, the war movie. The roar like comes out. It's like having
It
parties.
is exactly the opposite. The short circuit is like it's a nice robot, zero sex scenes. This is like horrible robot, tons of sex scenes, and Lemmy from Motorhead, and everybody's poor.
Wow.
Yeah, literally the opposite.
Yeah. Anyhow,
All right.
we're way off topic.
Well, do you
Well,
want?
let me
let's wrap this
wrap up how we however
do.
we got to this. One, military robots are going to be the most advanced robots, but that stuff isn't shared typically.
Right.
A lot of the stuff that iRobot is doing, or not iRobot.
CMU.
A lot of the stuff iRobot and
Virginia.
CMU does is for the military, and
Right.
that stuff ends up being siloed. So even though iRobot does make consumer robots, they don't necessarily get to use all that technology, or at least they don't get to use that
Yet,
money.
right.
They don't.
Yet.
They don't get to use.
Well, it always
military
trickles
money
down.
to
I mean,
research.
doesn't it? It
It
always-
does eventually, and it is finally trickling down in the Ava for iRobot. I think, and they're going to attach an arm to it.
Oh my god!
At least is
whenever
what.
whenever you say they're going to attach X, like it doesn't matter what if it's like has to be attached.
Yeah.
That's bad news.
At least, well, right now it doesn't have an arm, but they've implied
is
to
it
me
a? Is
that
it
it will.
Is it a human arm?
Hopefully,
Okay.
no.
Can you imagine?
And it will be very useful. Sorry, Boston Dynamics.
What was that?
We've been saying CMU for.
Did they do? Yeah.
No, they didn't
I
do
thought
Petman.
They didn't do Petman.
No, I've been horribly wrong. It's Boston
Oh,
Dynamics.
so Petman and Big Dog are related.
Yes, and they're both by Boston Dynamics.
Can I just say they got to start coming up with better names?
Yeah.
Petman and Big Dog sound like attacking.
You know, but isn't there's a competitor to
Sounds
Big
like a
Dog that's-
nickname for like a fellow
No,
like,
but-
teammate on a.
But there's a competitor to Big Dog called Alpha Dog, and that's just like now.
No.
Now you're just getting crazy.
is there?
No, Alpha Dog is Big Dog's successor.
Ooh, so it's not a competitor.
So you don't know anything.
There are
I
a
really
bunch
know
of
nothing.
there are a
I
bunch
hate
of very
robots.
This is not your wheelhouse.
there are a bunch of similar.
Do you guys want to talk
robot
about
mods.
patents? Or
There's
I mean,
literally
hey.
there's literally no consumer facing application for any of these
Look,
robots.
no,
that we're
if
talking-
you're like a
no,
rich
but
guy-
Big Dog, but
Right.
Big Dog and Petman have no.
Right.
They're not. You're not like. There is nothing in your home that is even remotely. Nobody's working on it. Nobody's making.
Right.
Like,
and like a humanoid that's useful in your home is like 20 years away.
Easily. 20 years is probably being generous, right? I mean, how long have we had cell phones until we got cell phones that did something really interesting and cool? It's been 150 years of cell phones. Well, you saw that movie on YouTube.
So all I'm saying is that the way we critique tablets and cell phones right now, where it's that's pretty good, but if they did,
you think we'll be doing that with robots?
Yes, I think in 5 to 10 years, that's how we're treating robots.
This
robot did a pretty good job of getting that on my fridge, but it should have been more effective. And it should be,
I agree.
Even what we're talking about, Siri. Siri's pretty cool, but it's
you don't
somewhat
think we'll come up with something
scope.
like tractor beam technology that'll obviate the need for robots?
Well,
That'd be
that's
awesome.
That's a beautiful.
That's your next feature.
Yeah, will tractor beams obviate the need for robots?
You could write that,
and
Maybe
you should riff on this title. So it's like beaming is bebop.
I don't understand that.
No. All right, that's
it's a music thing.
Well, it says walking is jazz.
Secretly clever. Secretly clever.
That's my first pop psychology book.
Secretly clever.
Secretly clever. The Nilay Patel story.
Yeah, the Nilay Patel story. Secretly clever. His whole life, he
No
was
one
playing.
knew.
No one knew his dark secret. Secretly clever. The Nilay Patel story.
Let's move on. Do you want what death do you want to talk about first? Flash or WebOS?
Let's do WebOS because we're gonna lose people when we start talking about Flash.
Yeah.
No, we won't. So HP. This week, Reuters reported that HP was in talks, deep in talks, to potentially sell off WebOS to the highest bidder.
And that story, by the way, that story. There's criticism of how we new media covers stories, right?
Yeah.
We do these updates.
Yeah.
That story changed dramatically over the course of 2 days, and they never pointed it out.
Yeah.
So first,
that's the beauty of traditional media is they can change a story completely, and they are never held accountable. Do you know why? No comments. Nobody's like, what happened? This story was different because they don't have them.
Bloomberg does the best job of pointing out. They put the updates at the top. They say update.
No,
5,
Bloomberg's the real
whatever.
deal.
But anyway, so Reuters,
I don't know what
they do a good job. But
completely
Reuters
empty
reported the story came out initially that was HP deep in talks and Oracle's. Everyone's talking about Oracle
leading,
which is nuts.
They would want it for the patents.
They want it for the patents. Also, Mark Hurd, who was the CEO of HP, when they bought.
What's up with Hurd? What do you think Hurd is thinking? Let's get that back. I wanted Oracle to make smartphones.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think Hurd had any interest in smartphones to begin with?
I mean, I think there's probably an element of it where he's. He thinks it's kind of funny and kind of hilarious to buy it from HP. Because he bought it.
He's just trolling.
This is a $1 billion joke.
No, basically. I think. Look, Larry Ellison basically said HP is stupid for getting rid of Mark Hurd.
No, he didn't basically say it. He
said
verbatim
said it a lot.
They're stupid. He said they're bozos and they're blowing it.
That should be his new thing.
Well, he has his. They're stupid is his. They're bozos.
Yeah. It actually really is. So, I think, there's probably an element where Hurd wants to buy it just to make HP lose money on it. But then, they're suing Google.
I can't imagine there's truly an element where Hurd wants to buy it just to make HP lose money.
Well, they did blow it.
I understand
they are bozos
it,
who blew it.
I can't imagine Hurd is like, I'm going to make them pay by rebuying Palm.
No. I don't think it's I'm going to make them pay. I think there's a big strategic advantage for Oracle to do it. I think they're in the middle of a lawsuit with Google about Java and Android.
So he's like, HP doesn't know what they have.
Right.
You don't know what you got till it's gone.
Right. And it's like, and we can use this to force Google's hand. I think that's great. Right.
Yeah.
But then later, the next day, that the Reuters story was updated. Secretly updated.
Secret update.
To add
much like secretly
Grim.
clever.
What was it?
Secretly
clever.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, that's me. This guy.
Who was the secretly clever person?
Nilay Patel.
No, it was updated to add in. It was everybody. It was RIM. It was, I think, who else was in the mix there? It was Oracle,
IBM,
RIM, IBM,
Lenovo,
LG.
Yeah.
So everybody that we've ever heard about.
Everybody.
And and then the next day, this is I think where Josh, you should pick up the story. We got
So the next day, we had multiple sources saying, and I'm trying to think of the best way to phrase this because it's not as easy to explain in what you saw on the site. 2 or more sources. That's a lot for us. If you get one person saying that you can trust, saying this thing's going to happen, that's one thing. If you have 2 reliable or more, that's a big deal. Said there's Meg Whitman, CEO of HP, not CEO of Palm or WebOS, CEO of the entire company of HP, which is way, way bigger than WebOS and Palm. Way bigger. Like, really, it's a drop in the bucket comparatively. Is holding an all hands, and there's going to be a decision. There's going to be some decision made or talked about at this all hands meeting. So we ran a story saying that that Meg Whitman was going to hold an all hands. It was likely going to be the decision, and they hold an all hands, and the all hands is like a 15-minute sit down where Meg Whitman's like, you know what, I don't really know what we're going to do.
And she said some really crazy stuff.
I just want you to know I'm not sure yet. And the weird thing is, when have you ever heard of the CEO of a company holding an all hands to tell people that she's still thinking about something?
Right.
Like, that's just not
so
done.
here's the quote that we ran.
Meg, she was just hitting refresh on The Verge.
Right.
Yeah. There's a new story like, that's an interesting
That's
idea.
a good idea.
Maybe I should have it all hands.
I actually have a theory. My theory is that, I really, in my heart, I've begun to think this is what happened. I think that they were going to tell that team about something. They were going to say some definitive move. Because, by the way, it's been since
August 18th.
August 18th.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
when Leo Apotheker said.
That's when Leo Apotheker said, we're done making touchpads. We're done making phones. We're going to look for strategic, alternatives or whatever. And Meg Whitman came on in... How long ago?
3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago. But they have been talking and thinking about this thing. It's been like 3 months now.
Mm-hmm.
So 3 months into it, with this just people flailing, people leaving, you don't come to that group and say, I don't know.
Right.
We might go big or we might go home.
And lest you think that we are overstating this, the quote that we ran, that we're very confident in, is that she said, it's not obvious exactly what to do here.
Yeah.
Which is an insane thing to say.
Mm.
And then she said, well... and this is another quote that we got. If HP decides to keep WebOS, we're going to do it in a very significant way over a multi-year period. HP can make a bet that expensive, but she doesn't know whether or not it's worth it.
Yeah.
And then she said, and that's only if you consider tablets. If you add in cell phones, the whole equation changes.
Yeah, it's a big...
Which is like, okay.
So we actually heard, there was some chatter that a lot of people now think, or some people think, that they're going to keep it.
Mm-hmm.
Who's left to develop it if they keep it? They
Right.
have to start
who
over.
That's a problem. That's a problem you can throw money at if you're HP, I think.
I don't think it's a problem you can throw money at. I think talented people want to work on successful projects, and I
disagree.
Hey, how much? Look. I'm developing a new mobile Linux, Josh.
Doomed.
I'd like you to lead it.
It's doomed. WebOS is doomed.
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't think you can throw money
It's
at
going to
WebOS.
be on a coffee maker with Netflix.
I don't think you can throw money at developing it. I don't think you can get the people to not work at Apple.
Let's talk
and not
about
work at Google.
Let's talk about the proposition of WebOS in any situation where it is not simply held for its patents. It is, we're going to create a fourth now. Okay, you have Google, Apple, and Microsoft vying. Yep. RIM is on the decline. Anything can happen, but RIM is not in great shape. Nokia is out. Symbian is not a thing that's happening.
Right.
MeeGo is not a thing that's happening. WebOS has failed twice. Mm-hmm. The proposition is we're going to re-up staff, money. We're going to try to do a new mobile platform.
And the tagline will be, we're totally serious.
We're really, it's really happening.
Right.
It's not going to happen. It can't happen. The climate is all wrong. People are not. You got problems within Android, and that's a single ecosystem essentially.
And it's winning.
And it's winning. We were just talking about it, right? There's fragmentation on phones. Now that you have Amazon, Barnes & Noble, that's
a runaway success.
That's a runaway success. Microsoft trying to claw its way back to relevance with Windows Phone, along with Nokia. RIM completely flailing. Nobody has any. They're on the decline right now. And these guys are going to come out of nowhere and say our stuff is better for some reason because we have cards. In 2009, it seemed somewhat realistic. In 2011... I don't see it.
But again, that's why Oracle, that's why they seem like the most reasonable bet. Because Oracle can buy them. They can buy them for the intellectual property. They can buy them for the patents. And then use them to collect licensing fees from Google, who is the winner.
Or HP could... HP could hold on to those patents
and do what?
Sue Google? What if HP...
Future defense.
What if HP said, okay, Microsoft, we're sorry for playing around with our own things. We're going to go all in, Microsoft. We're going to make Windows 8 tablets, and we're going to make Windows phones. And we want to be another Nokia. We want to bring our patents and our IP.
They don't have any credibility. Nokia has credibility around the world.
Here's a place where I could see WebOS. One place I could see a possible working relationship. HTC either buys or licenses. Hold on, let me finish.
I've been saying this for like 3 years, dude.
Amazon.
They're not using. I think I said this too about Amazon. Actually, they're not using WebOS as a platform. WebOS becomes the skin, and all of the card stuff and the notifications and whatever else. It's all baked into Android because really there aren't that many differences. It's a different way of multitasking, which I think you could do. I mean, in fact,
the new designed in Java.
Well, the new ice cream sandwich basically works like WebOS. You see cards, you swipe them away to get rid of them, but you swipe them to the right instead of up. I mean, I'm just saying.
You know what I see? You know, I see HTC's future. I mean, I've been thinking this for a long time.
HTC. Yeah.
I think that they like Android. I think that they've moved away from Google in a very significant way. I don't know that Google's super happy about Sense and the things that HTC.
I don't know that I'm super happy about Sense.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, that I think Google's trying to take a little bit more ownership of their experience. And I think HTC has had a long and illustrious relationship with Microsoft. And I see them headed more in that direction over time.
To Windows Phone?
To Windows Phone.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, they're paying a bunch of
money.
That'll be
the RAZR is really one of the nicest phones.
No, it's nice. And they're advertising it heavily.
Yeah.
The
RAZR's like $50, right?
It's so nice.
Yeah. It's not 50, is it?
Yeah, it's a little one.
That's the low end?
Yeah.
It's a pretty nice low end phone.
Yeah.
I
mean,
all I'm saying is WebOS, there aren't a lot of options unless you want to use it on your printer.
hence Meg Whitman's inability to come to a decision.
I'm sorry. I would love to. Can I go back and talk to the people who were like talking about how cool it would be? I think John Rubinstein was one, and who I love, is a great guy, really smart. We've had many conversations over the years. Many margaritas. Can we just revisit your it's going to be great on printers stuff and just get a reality check?
We talk about
on
this
that?
on every podcast at this point.
Yeah,
I think
we should just move on.
Anyhow, there's a good segue. So look, we're going to find out in a month.
But that's it. Well, she said 3 to 4 weeks they're going to have an answer.
It'll be a month.
I think they had an answer that night. I think they had an answer and they didn't want it. They didn't want to say after there was hype about it.
Well, then the answer has to be we were going to sell it.
They'll probably do it right after their earnings.
So you think they wanted to have a secret all hands and then the news would leak out?
Yeah,
later?
basically. Yeah, something very subtle. It wasn't going to be like a splash. They're doing this thing. Here it comes. It was going to be like they're keeping it, they're selling it off, and it trickles out.
If that's true, then they were going to sell it. If they were going to keep it, that wouldn't. What? Oh my God! The news were going to double down on WebOS again. I mean,
what is the point of having that meeting? If you're selling it, what do you care if people stay?
What do you mean?
I mean, it wasn't to like soothe people, right? Like to say, "Hey guys, don't go." I mean, people. I'm saying if you hold a meeting.
So then, but why delay the announcement that you're going to keep it and bet on it? That doesn't make any sense.
The Verge.
I don't think
that. The Verge.
That doesn't make any sense.
I mean, doesn't it?
No.
I mean, I think you want to.
You delay the announcement that you're selling.
You want to downplay the hype.
You don't. The hype of you're keeping it.
Of selling it.
That's what I'm saying. They're going to sell it.
Either way. I don't know.
I think we should move on.
So actually, we were talking about RIM buying WebOS.
Yeah.
And I think that has actually, some other news this week has actually made that a bit more of a realistic possibility. What? No. Listen to me. I got this one. I can do this. See what I did there? No.
I'm listening.
All the playbook is entirely developed in Flash. It's like totally Flash-based OS. Really doubled down on Flash. Flash is for Android and the playbook.
Can we talk about Flash?
Has been canceled.
Before you, yeah.
Playbook is not entirely Flash. It runs Flash.
Heavily relies.
No, it's heavily relies on Flash.
So Adobe this week. Let's talk
Adobe.
About, don't bury the lead.
Adobe
this week said
Qdoba.
Qdoba. My favorite.
Qdoba canceled chicken burritos.
Chipotle this week. No, Adobe this week said they are going to cease development on Flash. For
Android and PlayBook.
And PlayBook. They didn't, by the way, mention WebOS, which is the other platform they were developing Flash for. It hasn't gone so well.
No.
They're done. HTML5 is the thing now. They have conceded.
It's an amazing quote. Let me see if I can pull up this.
Can you pull it up? Yeah. They've conceded that HTML5 is cooler than Flash on mobile devices, and they're giving up. Basically, there's no other way to say it.
HTML5 is the best solution, says Adobe. That's basically like Steve Jobs. You were right.
They waited. I wish he could have gotten to see this.
Yeah.
In a way.
Man. Well, I'm happy.
Everybody saw this.
You know what I think this is?
It was terrible.
Adobe has been trying really hard to have a web standard, and they did. They had for a good, decade.
They had a great run.
And a half. They had a web standard, but the technology was moving past them, and they ultimately, Adobe's history is serving developers and designers and content creators, and ultimately they have to create great tools for content creators, and they can't necessarily right now they've been serving both Flash content creation and HTML5 content creation. They had to bet a horse.
They had to bet a horse?
What? They had to put their money behind I don't know how.
They had to bet on a horse.
Yeah. They had to
put their chips down
and double down
on a horse.
Ante up.
They ante up and double down on a horse.
Yeah.
And they doubled down
on black.
Now they've doubled down on
HTML5. And I think it's a really great decision.
Well, we'll see. Wait till HTML6 comes along.
And they're like, Flash 20. We've been developing in secret.
No, I don't think that's going to happen. Flash is over.
No, it is. And the thing about them saying we're killing it for mobile and we're going to keep developing it for the PC is like, you're lying. You should just tell the truth. And the truth is that the future of all content is mobile.
If I'm using my iPad and I'm using my Android tablet or whatever, my Android phone.
And there's no Flash.
And there is no Flash, then you've got to do something or that content just goes away.
Right.
So what are you going to do?
And they should.
And more that people are using mobile devices.
Right. So it's them saying we're doing it for mobile it's a shade. They're shading the truth.
But the mobile and desktop is getting closer to parity.
Right.
So.
And I don't think there's any doubt that mobile will eclipse desktop rapidly, right? They're approaching parity.
I think desktop Flash still has a good 5 years.
But it's a 5 years of fading away.
Slowly
it's 5 years of people converting their sites to HTML5.
If you want to watch any streaming video, like HTML5 video is getting better for like recorded clips, but if you want to have streaming video, that is all happening in Flash right now.
No, you're crazy.
Justin
I watch
TV, Twitch
NFL
TV.
Sunday Ticket on my iPad all the time, streaming from DirecTV.
Oh, that's on a mobile device. I'm saying on the desktop.
Yeah, but why couldn't you just? But wouldn't it be even better on a mobile?
Yeah, I get angry when I open my laptop. And I have to watch.
Why should I have to suffer through?
I'm just saying that's the state of things right now.
It's a state of things because that's the status quo.
No, because right now you can't lock things down. Like all the like MOG and Ardio use Flash because that's how you lock things down.
this is a really great point, Paul, because I know for a fact that most content, like big content companies, they consider the PC an insecure platform, and they say it all the time. And that's why they're happy to go to the Roku and the Boxy Box. That's why they're happy to do mobile, because Apple promise them that
it's basically locked down.
I will say that.
But the thing that I think is crazy is that not only did they kill Flash for mobile, they killed Flash for the TV, which is what enabled Boxy to build the Boxy Box and say there's a browser, it runs Flash, you can build that stuff.
Oh, they also kill Flash for TV.
They enabled Google to build the Google TV and say we're running Android with Flash. It's a secure. It's no longer like a PC connected to the television. It has a browser that's secure and you can use Flash, and all that's dead. So these two huge bets by Boxy and Google have basically been completely undermined by Adobe. And I don't know.
So what are you saying?
I just, Google's moving to apps on the Google TV. But like that whole thing that you're talking about where Flash was a secure layer on the PC, that might still be the future for the PC.
That's what I'm saying.
No, I think you're right. I'm agreeing with you. I love you, buddy.
All right.
But I still think the end game is HTML5.
Yes, totally.
Absolutely.
I'm just saying that Flash is going to be around for a while because it is this platform for streaming and for security right now.
Right.
On the desktop.
For right now.
You know what you're saying is Flash is jail.
Yeah.
Well, Flash is jail on the desktop.
Well, in certain places where there are no other ways to get at a secure solution, that's going to have to do.
But I mean,
for now.
Poor Adobe.
Also,
man.
I mean,
they've gone from like
also just isn't quite feature complete. It's getting there, but it's not quite. It's not quite all the way.
right.
I agree.
Oh, you
I
know,
agree
actually,
with you.
somebody's yelling Silverlight in our chat.
Yeah,
and I will
they're
say this:
killing Silverlight.
they're going to
Also
kill
kill-
Silverlight too.
How are we going to watch the Olympics without Silverlight?
That's exactly right.
That was what I said.
So I
That's
want
my
to.
first question.
I
How
wanna-
are we going to watch the Olympics?
I want to talk
I
about
gotta see Shaun White ripping it.
what is he? A snowboarder?
Yeah, and
I want to talk about one more thing, and then I think we should wrap. I mean, do a wrap together. Because we have a couple of other topics here that, frankly, I just think we don't have to talk about. Do you agree or disagree?
No, we don't have to talk about.
I just want to.
I can just say what they are.
No. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Tegra 3.
Tegra 3 came out.
It's official.
Nvidia is very proud of it.
Transformer Prime
Transformer Prime came out.
has
You know,
Tegra
It
3.
has Tegra 3.
I'm waiting for the Transmorpher font.
Transformer Prime.
No,
so this
Tegra
is-
3, but no ice cream sandwich. It's going to launch with honeycomb.
Not interested. I'm an
That's
ICS
it.
man.
That's all-
Actually,
that's all
let me
we
just
have to
quickly.
say.
Can I just
Asus has been pretty good at updating though.
that they actually have been really on the ball more than anybody. Let me just quickly say on ice cream sandwich. I wrote a post today. You'll be happy to know this is my Nexus back in a small way, at
A
least,
tiny baby way.
about how I badly want the Galaxy Nexus. That's it. There's nothing else to say. You've been hearing me talk about it.
We're gonna
so
shut down the column after that. That was all.
That's it.
You know,
done.
we should open a forum called This Is My Next where people can talk about the thing that they want the most.
Let's not get crazy. Finally,
I think we should get crazy.
finally,
Let's get nuts. You want nuts?
finally. I would actually. I'm a little hungry. You nuts over there?
Kim's running.
No, okay, no. I'm good. No, it's okay. We have the first on the Verge,
It's happening.
which is our new.
My parents are coming.
No.
Yeah.
No.
My parents are
The
coming.
Patels?
The Patels.
Oh my God.
The Doctors Patel are going to be
Yes.
there.
Oh, I'm going to meet them.
Oh, it's going to be awesome.
I'm going to meet them
They're gonna
so
be-
much.
You are going to confuse each other so much.
I'm going to hang with your parents. I'm going to knock back shots of Jägermeister with your parents.
Oh, that is
I'm going to
terrifying.
take your parents to a strip club. Anyhow.
That is the most deep threat that anybody's ever.
I'm going to take your parents to a strip club. And they're going to love it. I next Monday,
Yeah.
this coming Monday, on The Verge, New York City.
Yep.
7 p.m.
You think we could pull it off?
I honestly have no idea. But I'll say this. It's going to be fun. It may be crazy. Matias Duarte is there.
That's going to be awesome.
Still not 100% sure that I'm pronouncing his name right. But that's fine.
That's what the interview's for.
That's what I'm actually going to spend a half an hour with Matias just trying to get to the bottom of his name. But we have a bunch of cool stuff planned, and I'm very excited about it. And, it's the first of many shows to come,
Yeah.
and it's cool. And that's it.
And Chad's not allowed to sleep from now until it's produced.
Chad, is that right?
Chad's asleep.
He's
right
asleep.
Now.
He's sleepy right now. Okay, we should wrap up. So that is our show for the week. If you'd like to get in touch with us, you can email us at podcast@theverge.com.
Yeah.
You can leave a comment on this post when it goes up,
Which will live update.
which will live update thanks to our awesome CMS. And or you can get a hold of us on Twitter. The Verge is at Verge. I'm Joshua Topolsky. Neil is Reckless. Somebody wanted me to do this both on Twitter and in real life.
That's what I'm here for.
Paul is future Paul. Joanna, who left, is Joanna Stern. It's like she's still here hiding or something. She's here, but she didn't want to be on anymore.
Yeah.
She's Joanna Stern. And that's it. That's it for this week. We'll be back next week with more. We're doing the show on Monday, and then we're also going to do a video podcast. So
Yeah. Oh,
It's
we're just all over the place.
it's like you're getting two shows in 1 week.
yeah, but one has much higher production.
One has
value.
much higher production value. One is essentially, it's like you're in a gutter, in a sewer somewhere. And I'm not going to tell you which one is which, but I think you can probably guess. This is the sewer. Anyway, that's it for us. We'll be back next week. Thank you so much for listening and watching, if you did that, and joining in the Ustream. And I just wish all the best for you and yours over the weekend. And I hope you just dying to say it. And I hope that you enjoy
it up,
I hope that
Topolsky.
you enjoy your weekend, and I hope that you get the rest that I think you deserve.
Rock and roll.